It's a tale as old as time, or at least as old as the Antiques Roadshow itself, a beloved family heirloom, a quiet hope for a decent valuation, and then, absolute, jaw-dropping shock. We've all seen those moments, right? The gasps, the wide eyes, the sudden need for a sturdy chair. But trust me, few are as delightful and downright thrilling as the one experienced by a recent guest whose vintage John Falter illustration, The Driving Range, turned out to be less of a sentimental keepsake and more of a small fortune. Imagine this. You've got a painting hanging in your living room. It's been there for years, maybe decades. It belonged to your dad, and now it's yours. It's part of the furniture, part of your everyday life. You love it, sure, but you don't really think about its monetary value. Then, you decide, on a whim, to take it to the Antiques Roadshow. Just for fun, you know. To see what the experts say. Maybe it's worth a few thousand, enough for a nice vacation or a new set of golf clubs. What unfolds next is the kind of story that dreams are made of, the kind that makes you wonder what hidden treasures might be lurking in your own attic. Our story begins, as many do, with family. The guest, whose name wasn't revealed, shared a wonderfully relatable account of how this captivating artwork came into his possession. "I got it through my father," he explained to the always insightful Fossil, a painting appraiser who's been a staple on the PBS program since its very first season in 1997. Think about that. Fossil has been witnessing these incredible revelations for almost 3 decades. He's seen it all, yet even he seemed genuinely thrilled by the unfolding events. The guest continued, painting a vivid picture. It was something that he had in his home for many years, and when he passed on, it was willed to me, and we've had it hanging in our living room ever since. Can you feel the warmth in that statement? This wasn't just a piece of art. It was a legacy, a tangible connection to his father. It was a backdrop to countless family moments, a silent observer of celebrations, quiet evenings, and everyday life, and it was about to change everything. Unpacking the art, the genius of John Falter. As the conversation flowed, the guest began to describe the illustration itself. He highlighted its unique charm, noting how it wonderfully captured a variety of golf stances, both good and bad. If you've ever tried to hit a golf ball, you know exactly what he means. This isn't just a pretty picture. It's a slice of life, imbued with humor and authenticity. And here's where it gets even more interesting. This very illustration once graced the cover of the Saturday Evening Post. Fossil, with his characteristic blend of expertise and easygoing demeanor, then chimed in with more fascinating context about the artist, John Falter. John Falter did a lot of work for the Saturday Evening Post. He did about 185 covers for them, Fossil revealed, emphasizing Falter's prolific output. He then provided a brief but important biographical detail. He was born in 1910 and lived to about 1982. Knowing a bit about the artist's life and career adds so much depth to the appreciation of their work, doesn't it? It connects us to the person behind the brushstrokes. What makes this story even more compelling is the backstory of how the guest's father acquired the piece. It wasn't some grand, high-stakes auction purchase. No, this was a more down-to-earth transaction, rooted in the 1970s. The illustration had actually been displayed in his father's company office, a place of work, not an art gallery. They went back and forth and settled on a price, and that's how he ended up with it, the guest recounted, giving us a peek into the negotiation. And the price? A mere $2,500. Let that sink in for a moment. $2,500 for a piece of art that would eventually be worth hundreds of thousands. Talk about a savvy investment, even if it was made for purely aesthetic reasons. It just goes to show, sometimes the greatest treasures are found in the most unexpected places, and often, their true value isn't immediately pointed out. Why this particular illustration held such widespread appeal. Not only is there a lot of interest in illustration art these days, but also, this has appealed to golfers as well, he noted. He's absolutely right. It's a cross-genre masterpiece. It speaks to art lovers, certainly, but also to the millions who have a passion, or a humorous struggle, with the game of golf. This broad appeal is a key factor in its remarkable value. Before dropping the bombshell, Fossil, ever the showman, asked the guest if he'd had the piece appraised before. The guest confirmed he had, about 5 or 6 years earlier, for insurance purposes. The estimated value then, a respectable $80,000. $80,000 is nothing to sneeze at, right? Most of us would be thrilled with that. But then Falzel delivered the news that would change everything. His voice, calm and measured, built the anticipation. That's interesting because in that time, in the last 5 or 6 years, the market has really gone up for illustration art, he began, setting the stage. And in fact, he's recently spiked some prices at auction well into 6 figures. The air in the room must have thickened. You could almost hear the guest's heart rate quicken. 80,000 was good, but well into 6 figures, that's a whole different ballgame. Then came the grand reveal, the moment everyone watching, and the guest himself, had been waiting for. I would put an insurance value of about $200,000 to $250,000 on it, Falzel stated, his voice resonating with the weight of the numbers. $200,000 to $250,000. Just let that sink in. From $2,500 to $250,000. The guest's reaction was, quite simply, priceless. He was stunned, speechless. His immediate response perfectly encapsulated the shock and exhilaration of the moment. Really? Wow, I need to make a phone call. That last line says it all, doesn't it? I need to make a phone call. It's a hint that it's definitely time to update that insurance coverage. Perhaps call a trusted financial advisor, or maybe even just a loved one to share the unbelievable news. This wasn't just an appraisal. It was a life-altering revelation. This story is a beautiful reminder that true value often lies hidden in plain sight. It's a testament to the power of art, the sentimental worth of family heirlooms, and the thrilling possibility that your dusty attic or unassuming living room might just be home to an undiscovered fortune. So, what are you waiting for? Take a closer look at what's hanging on your walls. You never know what treasures might be waiting to be revealed.